Ohio State, UCLA, bold predictions. It's time. That's Mick Walker over there. I'm just Spencer Holbrook. It's time. We're going to talk bold predictions for Ohio State and UCLA. Mick, we're not even going to waste any time. We're trying to keep these videos a little truncated, let the people get on with their Friday, maybe Saturday, depending on when you watch this. If you're skipping college game day, big noon kickoff, all of those pregame shows and watching us, thank you. I suggest doing it the rest of your life and watching Lettermen Row's Bold Prediction Show on Saturday mornings. Mick, go first. I'm just going to give you the honors on the tee box. I don't know if you're a better player of golf than I am, but you certainly have earned the honors on the tee box. Go ahead.
I am most certainly not the better golfer on this show. I've been painting the corners a little bit with my bold predictions, not hitting that zone, but we're dancing around the edges a little bit. This one we've heard tell of of 1,000-yard rushers, multiple 1,000-yard rushers for the Ohio State offense. We had 2,000-yard rushers, and they had 2,000-yard rushers in Columbus last year. I think we're gonna have 200-yard rushers inside the shoe on Saturday night. I think Bo Jackson goes for 100+ rushing yards, and Isaiah West goes for 100+ rushing yards as they kind of just run it into the ground against the Bruins to see how this run game looks with maybe whoever's at right guard, maybe Phillip Daniels back in the lineup or Ian Moore, whatever it is. Kind of just test it out a little bit and get these running backs going.
Mick, I'm really upset because that would mean that Ohio State had 200 rushing yards, and last week I predicted that Ohio State would have 200 rushing yards. It was my number one bold prediction. I felt so good about it. And they rattled off a 70-yard rushing touchdown on the first play of the game. I was like, oh, we're sailing over 200 yards rushing. And sack adjusted, they had 189 because of that 70-yard touchdown run came off the board. I was so upset. I thought that it was going to finally connect. It didn't. So that's sad. I do have another prediction, though. So this is my bold prediction. I think Ohio State's going to hold Nico Iamaleava under 125 total yards for this game. I think the Buckeyes have been asked enough to be a little angry about being asked about it, about Nico's rushing ability, about the way that they're going to have to cage the pocket against him, on how elusive he is, on how he's hard to bring down, this, that, and the third. I think the Buckeyes are going to come out and make sure that he has a bad time in the horseshoe for the second straight appearance. I don't think UCLA is going to be able to throw the ball very well, and I think when you account for sack yards that he's going to take in this game, because I think he's going to take a few sacks, which might go to my bold prediction later. We'll see. I think Nico's going to finish with under 125 total yards in this game. That is passing and rushing combined, which would be quite the achievement for this Ohio State defense, but that's my bold prediction, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, that'd be very bold considering that he only has to get a little over, 60 yards apiece there to start making things difficult for you. That is a bold one right there. I thought
if he
about
has 60 rushing yards, that's a problem for Ohio State.
It's very bold. I thought about going with one to say that Ohio State wasn't going to give up any sacks in this game, but that wouldn't be very bold considering the Bruins are last in the Big Ten when it comes to total sacks as a team, like opposing sacks or whatever. I just wanted to give an opportunity to say that Ohio State's offensive line has played a lot better than people would like to talk about, considering they weren't Joe Moore Award semifinalists, but that's beyond the point of this show. Moving on to my actual second bold prediction, I think our good friend, Adam the King, television's Adam King of 10 TV, he said earlier this week on one of his shows about Ohio State with Nico Iamaleava is going to have the opportunity to create a lot of turnovers. And we've said this a lot before, so I don't want to continue to just say interceptions because it doesn't really ever work out for us when we say that. But I'm just going to say that Ohio State forces 3 turnovers against the Bruins on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Mick, do you know how many rushing touchdowns Bo Jackson has on the season? You know how many he's going to have on the season by the time Sunday comes around? Just 4. He's going to double his rushing touchdown total for the year. Look, I think it's time for Ohio State to begin rewarding him. He's done a lot of dirty work for this run game, and I'm saying dirty work because he's had to make some chicken salad out of some not so great chicken droppings this year in the run game. There have been times where he's created his own rushing lanes. Ryan Day talked about his ability to bring his own blocker, how it was a little Quinshon Judkins-esque last week in the win over Purdue. I think the Buckeyes are really starting to respect the effort that Bo Jackson has given them in the run game and not just rely on it. But, I think there's a difference between knowing that somebody's a good player and respecting what they've done for you. I think Ohio State is truly respecting what Bo Jackson as a freshman has done for this run game. Because without him, I don't know if this run game would even be like I don't want to use too harsh of terms. I just think it would be bad without Bo Jackson.
It'd
So
be a very, very glaring hole in the Ohio State offense without Bo Jackson.
correct. I think they'd be one-dimensional. I think they would actually look a lot like the Alabama run game does without Bo Jackson. The Alabama run game, if you guys don't know, it is probably the biggest reason why I don't know if Ohio State will see Alabama in the playoff. Like, it's just like it's a problem. Ohio State would be in that boat without Bo Jackson. All of that to say, I think there are times and places for Ohio State to reward some of their players. And they've been getting to the 1 yard line, the 2 yard line, things like that, and just hammering CJ Donaldson into the end zone. I think it's time not just for Bo Jackson to break a long one, but also to get a short yardage carry. Make sure he is confident in short yardage that he can get in the end zone in those settings. That way, up in Ann Arbor or in a home playoff game, if something goes wrong, or in the Rose Bowl, if you win the Big Ten, like that he can get short yardage runs. So I think Ohio State's going to give him a couple of touchdowns here. I think he's going to find the end zone twice, and I think he's going to take his rushing touchdown total from 2 touchdowns this year to 4.
I like that one a lot. You and I, we don't know CJ Donaldson a lot. We didn't get to cover him recruiting, but I think it would be fascinating to actually hear him. And I think he would be very self-aware of what he does on the goal line and how these freshmen kind of run it down to the end zone. And he goes, all right, here comes 12, and he's going to go get a touchdown. I think he would actually have some good commentary on that, so that would be funny to hear. My third and final, also, I looked it up just in case you guys are curious about when Spencer says the Alabama run game. Their left tackle has 4 carries this season, in case you were wondering how experimental and curious they've had to be with that run game this season. They've had to hand it, they've direct snapped to the left tackle 4 different times. So as bad as you think the Ohio State run game is, we have not seen Austin Sarabelt in the backfield yet this year. Maybe we will. Yet. But moving on to my third and final bowl prediction. I have the 200 rushing yards. I have the defense, the 3 turnovers, and I said it last week. And I think I said the field goal one. It didn't come to fruition with Jaden Fielding, so I'm going to go back to special teams. But it's not going to be Jaden Fielding this time. And it feels weird to say this because I don't think they'll need this guy all that much. He might have 1 attempt at doing this, so who knows if it'll come true. I think Joe McGuire is going to have a punt down inside the 5, and I don't know. I don't think that's all that. Maybe that's not all that bold. But I just like that one, and I think Joe McGuire's got a good punt in him in this week if he needs it.
See, this is what sucks. I was going to do a special teams bold prediction that was going to rock the plates beneath our feet, Mick. And now you've got a special teams one I feel like it's a little cheap. Because I've been thinking about this all week, and I can't get it out of my head.
Spencer is our noted special teams analyst here, folks. I am but a novice of the special teams.
I can't get it out of my head. Back in 2023, the Ohio State special teams were truly horrendous. I mean, Nick, it was bad. Wait, this was 2022. Either year, they were terrible. The former special teams coordinator is not here anymore because of how bad the special teams were. And in 2022, Ohio State, 2 games before the Michigan game, all of a sudden, like, you know what? We're going to start blocking punts. We're just going to block punts. And by God, they did it. They came up with a scheme that was going to block a punt, and they did it in 2 straight weeks. And they blocked the punt against Indiana. And then the next week, they blocked the punt at Maryland. And the block punt at Maryland helped them win that game. Like, they were on the ropes a little bit in that road game to Maryland. Was this 2022 or 2023? I guess it doesn't really matter. But I think Ohio State's going to block a punt in this game. They came really close. They've come really close here in the last few weeks. They've been looking like they're getting more aggressive in that regard. I thought they were going to block the punt that Purdue sent to the other side of the field at the end of the first half because you really had nothing to lose there other than, your opportunity to get into the 2-minute drill, which they did, and then they got the field goal from Jaden Fielding. But they had a chance to block that punt, and they were close. They've come really close here a couple different times. UCLA has been the punt block specialist team this year. They've blocked punts, they've faked punts, they've onside kicked, they've got special team shenanigans up both of their sleeves. I think Ohio State's going to flip the script there. I think the Buckeyes are going to block a punt in this game. Does it go for a touchdown? I don't know, but I think they're going to pull something out. The last time they played at home at night, 2 times ago when they played at home at night, they had something special on special teams. So I'm just going to go with what I've seen. I think the Buckeyes are going to have some fun on special teams and block a punt in this game. And the special teams, I think, have been getting better. It was a clean game on Saturday. It was clean except for one minor penalty against Penn State on a weird play on a punt that kind of cost them some yardage from Fahim Delane. I think they got that cleaned up. Then they go on the road. They're clean in the special teams against Purdue. They've got to be clean on Saturday against UCLA. So we both got a special teams bold prediction. Yours isn't as bold as mine, but I think that Ohio State's going to block a punt in this game.
I love that one. And I think Ohio State's kind of been hunting it a little bit, if we can use that term. The Wisconsin one, I think you might have mentioned that they called timeouts and forced Wisconsin to punt the ball with about 2 or 3 seconds left. There would have been a time previously where I think they just would have been all right, we'll go into the half. And a lot of it's difficult because I think if you asked Rod Keys or Nate Ebner or Gunnar Daniel, whoever's in charge of certain things on Ohio State special teams, they'd say it's very team specific on what you need to find if the left guard on their punt team lines up a little bit too wide sometimes, and that way you can send 2 guys in there and create internal pressure or whatever. It can be very specific to the team, but I think Ohio State's done a good job of when they needed to or when they feel like they really got a hole there, they've attacked it. They did it at Wisconsin. I think they had an opportunity to do it against Purdue, like you mentioned. And I imagine there's one every week if they needed it, whether it's Penn State or Texas. And I imagine they've done a ton of advanced scouting on Michigan. There's probably a gap or a hole every week they feel like they can exploit on special teams. And I would not doubt that they can find one against UCLA either.
Yeah, I think we're hunting in the right forest here, Mick. It's almost gun season, so I think we're hunting in the right forest here. You guys know this by now. College football season's in full swing. We're in week 10 for the Buckeyes, week 12 overall in college football. It is absolutely flying by. The Modelo Recruiter is back in action because it's still recruiting season. Looking to reward full-time fans who give their all for their team. If you're listening to this, yes, you have been recruited, and it's time for an ice cold reward. Modelo is the perfect reward for your fandom, and it's the official beer sponsor of the college football playoff. Ohio State fans, you deserve a Modelo. Go get a Modelo today. Thanks to our friends over at Modelo for sponsoring the show. And of course, Mick, it is now time for Saturday selections presented by BetMGM. College football fans, it's time to lock in those Saturday showdowns with BetMGM. Whether you're betting the underdog or riding with the favorite, take your excitement to the next level with a college football odds boost token. Log into your BetMGM account and receive your token, then place a bet on any college football matchup with your activated token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Claim your odds boost token and be sure to activate it before placing your bet. The game is about to kick off, so feel the rush and own the moment. BetMGM, make it legendary. See BetMGM for terms. 21 and over only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offered for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Mick, Ohio State is currently a 31.5 point favorite for its home night game against the UCLA Bruins. A Bruin is a bear if you're an uninitiated, Mick. And Ohio State is a 31.5 point favorite over the Bear Bruins. The total is set at 47.5. What is your Saturday selection for Ohio State UCLA?
I don't like doing this because it leaves zero room for error, but I'm going to go 40-0.
40?
Yeah, so we're gonna get a Jaden Fielding field goal, and then my Joe McGuire punt down inside the 5 leads to safety right here. Boom, 40.
I actually don't know the last time Ohio State had a safety. I think the last time Ohio State had a safety, I'm not kidding, was on a blocked punt. Probably. I think it was at Indiana in 2019. The Buckeyes forced a safety in that game.
I just need the safety. Who knows if it's a tackle in the backfield? Maybe Nico Imalaeva can Darren Orlovsky this thing out of the back of the end zone.
Hey, we're catching ESPN zone is catching strays, man.
Whatever it may be, I just need a safety for this bold prediction to hit. I need Jaden Fielding to come through, which I'm more confident in after last week. Spencer wrote a good story about how the whole team is more confident in Jaden Fielding and special teams after last week. Go to Lettermen Row and read that. Go to Lettermen Row tomorrow to read Spencer's final thoughts, and our score predictions will include mine saying 40-0. It's
actually today, Mick, that final thoughts is coming out. But But that's okay. I understand. We're recording this on Thursday, full disclosure. I've got Ohio State winning the ball game, Nick. I know that's going to be surprising to some. I think Ohio State is going to win this game 38-3. I don't see this game being very competitive. That is a nice, smooth sailing under for the folks who have vested interest in the total. That is an Ohio State cover for the folks who have a vested interest in the Ohio State spread. The Buckeyes finally didn't cover the spread against Purdue. It was the first time all season they hadn't covered a spread because the second team defense forgot how to play defense against Purdue's offense. And so Purdue marched right down the field. It was 34-3. Then it became 34-10. The Buckeyes came out of West Lafayette with a win, but not a cover. And good teams win, great teams cover. I think the Buckeyes get back on the cover side of Cover Town here in the Horseshoe on a Saturday night. Do you have any final thoughts here, Mick?
I don't. You know, I always love to end our Friday show with your picks. So I just want to cede the floor to you, let you talk about your picks for the weekend, and we'll head on out of here.
I will say, Mick, one thing that I do like for this game, I like the first half under. The first half total is 27.5. I like the first half under. I think this is going to be a low play total. Ohio State, get in, get out. It could be 27-0 at halftime, and you're still in the clear. It could be 24-3 at halftime, just like it was last week, and you're still in the clear. That's a blowout, by the way, in Ohio State standards because the Buckeyes play at such a slow pace. I like the first half under 27.5. I'll be kind of surprised if it sails over that. So that's just something to keep in mind. You know, I'm not telling you guys to go bet that. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not a gambling advice person. I do like to have some fun. I don't bet on Ohio State. I disclose that every single week, but that's something I got an eye on. So, the rest of the day. New Mexico minus 14.5. I think Colorado State is dead team walking. Now they got to go down to New Mexico, and Jason Eck might put them in a blender. I just think that's not going to be a good time for anybody involved. Missouri State at home minus 4.5 against UTEP. I mean, there's a line on it. I know it's not a game that everybody's going to want to watch at 3:00, but that's just something I've got my eye on. I think that's actually it. I like Northwestern plus the 11.5 against Michigan. I just think that the Wrigley games are kind of weird. I don't love Michigan's offense. I know they're just coming off the bye week, but it hasn't given you a lot of reasons to be confident in the offense. And Northwestern's kind of plucky, man. So I'm going to take Northwestern plus the 11.5. And then been thinking about it all week. I think I might throw one unit on Pitt to cover against Notre Dame. Just think this is going to be one of those weird Pitt games, man. Pitt's like a fine bourbon. It's just like, yeah, some people hate it. Some people love it. You know that it's there. It's going to, you rattle it around your glass like, Pitt. This is a fine Pitt. I don't know, man. It's just like Pitt has the ability to muck some things up. And the last thing you want to see late in the season on your schedule when you're trying to push for the college football playoff, it's like, smooth sailing. Wait, what is that? Is that a trip to the big ketchup bottle, Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field, on the horizon? Oh, no, that could be horrendous for us. Not only does Notre Dame have to go there this week, in 2 weeks, Thanksgiving weekend, Miami goes there. I think Pitt's going to get at least one of those, so it might as well be this week. I think Pitt covers the 12.5 against Notre Dame. That's a big number, man.
Very big number. We'll get out of here on this. 3 games we got to ask you about, Spence. What's going to happen in Athens?
The other Athens, they already lost. I think Georgia wins by 3. So I'll take Texas plus the 6.5.
Tuscaloosa? Any lean there?
Oklahoma
beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And final one, keeping it in the Big Ten. Any thoughts on Iowa going out to Los Angeles?
Rain. Give me the Trojans. I think it's gonna be really tough for Iowa to bounce back. I think it's gonna be really tough. That's a tough spot for them. It's not a tough spot for us. We're hanging out over in the Lettermen Lounge at lettermenrow.com. That's Mick Walker. I'm just Spencer Holbrook. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our friends at BetMGM for sponsoring the show. Thanks to our friends at Modelo. And thanks to you for watching. We'll see you guys over at lettermenrow.com. We'll see you guys in the Horseshoe on Saturday for Ohio State and UCLA. Can't wait to get in there for a primetime Big Ten showdown in the Horseshoe.